In developing mobile applications, it is important to create an app that can store your information for future use and as a repository. In App Inventor, we can achieve this by using the storage component called TinyDB. Today, we are going to discuss the storage components in App Inventor and demonstrate how TinyDB is used. Please get ready and focus your attention. Before anything else, let us understand what storage is in MIT App Inventor. Storage in MIT App Inventor allows apps to save, retrieve, and manage data so that information is not lost when the app is closed or when data needs to be shared online. Storage components make it possible for apps to remember user inputs, settings, scores, files, and shared data across devices. MIT App Inventor provides both local and cloud-based storage components. Local storage components, such as TinyDB and File, store data directly on the user's device and are mainly used for offline or personal data. Cloud-based components, such as CloudDB, TinyWebDB, and Spreadsheet, allow data to be stored on the internet, making it possible to share information between multiple users or devices in real time. Let us identify the different components of storage in MIT App Inventor. TinyDB is a local persistent storage component that stores data directly on the user's device. It is useful for saving values that persist between app restarts, such as user settings or scores, and stores data as tag value pairs. TinyWebDB stores and retrieves data from a web database service using tags. It is useful for sharing data across devices or for apps that require web-based storage, although it is more limited compared to CloudDB. CloudDB allows data to be stored in the cloud for sharing among users of the app. It supports online multi-device, shared data, and triggers events when data changes. File provides access to the device's file system, allowing apps to read and write text or binary files. It is useful for storing structured files or custom data outside of key-value stores. Datafile gives access to structured CSV or JSON files on the device, which can be parsed into rows and columns for use in apps, often for charts or lists. Finally, Spreadsheet connects to Google Sheets via API to read and write spreadsheet data online, providing cloud storage and structured data without the need to build a custom backend. Okay, let us focus on TinyDB. TinyDB is a local storage component in MIT App Inventor that saves data permanently on the user's device. The data remains even after the app is closed or the phone is restarted. It stores information using tag value pairs, making it ideal for saving user inputs such as names, settings, choices, or scores. The following is the block code for storing and retrieving data on a device. After this, please watch the demonstration so that you can follow how TinyDB is used in App Inventor to store and retrieve data using blocks. Initialize global temp list to create empty list. This line of code means that a variable named templist is being declared as a global variable, so it can be accessed anywhere in the program, and it is being initialized with an empty list, which is a list that currently contains no items but can have items added to it later. The next block of code means that when the button Save is clicked, the program first retrieves a list of data stored under the tag MyData from TinyDB1 and assigns it to the global variable temp list, using an empty list if no data exists yet. Then, it takes the text entered in text box 1 and adds it to temp list. Finally, it saves the updated temp list back into TinyDB1 under the same tag, MyData. The next code means that first, a global variable temp list is created as an empty list. Then, when screen 1 initializes, when the screen opens, the program sets the elements of list view 1 to the data stored in TinyDB1 under the tag MyData, or to an empty list if there is no data yet. And now, let us proceed to a demonstration. Please follow me so that you can identify the components to be used and learn how to create the blocks. Before we start creating blocks, it is important to know which components are on your screen. Screen 1 is the main screen where everything happens. Button Save is the button that the user clicks to save data. List View 1 is a list that displays saved items. TinyDB1 is the storage component used to save data persistently. Finally, there are global variables, such as temp_list, which temporarily hold data. Thank you for watching and following this tutorial. I hope you gain knowledge in creating mobile applications using MIT App Inventor, specifically using the storage component TinyDB. Have a great day, and God bless.